Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, and today we are going to be listening and reacting to your boy Guns. Apparently, he has officially came out and announced that he is going to be departing and leaving his long-found home of TFS, newly minted IMFS, and heading over to NVR. I, for one, cannot wait to hear what he talks about. What answers will he provide? Will we get some more clarification and explanations on what exactly went down within TFS, now IMFS? As always, if you enjoy the content, help us out. Throw us a quick, because it means a lot, does a lot. Thank you so much. Here we go.
Yes. The time has finally come. And I don't say that, lightly. Okay, and I'll kind of get into that. It's definitely bittersweet for sure. As I'm sure you guys have heard, BM put out a video about me talking about leaving TFS and going to NVR, and a lot of people are asking, like, who is NVR? What are they doing? Why NVR? And not any of the current top teams that are available right now. And yeah, so I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm finally leaving TFS. I never thought I would say that. So let's see, where do we start? First of all, let's start off with why I'm leaving TFS. So honestly, it's not like anything crazy. I think the main thing of why I'm leaving TFS is because Jason is no longer around anymore. And the reason for that is because, as some of you guys may know, we joke about it a lot, but if some of you guys may know, he has a massive gig going on with Pokemon on the weekends, where he's not able to be around the pass opens, right? And then honestly, with Jason not being around and war leading, even during tough times, some of you guys may know, like, I've been with TFS as BM mentioned in his video through the craziest of times, ups, downs, left, rights, you name it, and I've still stuck around, and that's because of a lot of our core group just being able to have fun. But now with Jason being gone and some of the other leadership not really stepping up to help him war lead and keep everything going, has definitely caused a lot of issues within IMFS.
Okay, let me pause here. This was a lot. But let me first start off by saying, number one, right, Jason, I believe, runs his own business, and it's Pokemon. I don't know if there's some magic cards, but he has like his own thing. And he did a video, or maybe a couple, on his YouTube. I think it's Three Kingdoms Gaming or something like that. And he kind of shows what he does. And so from my understanding is that this does typically happen on the weekend. And so, if anything, I'll say this, dude, shout out to Jason for just making time and committing to as many pass openings that he's been able to, because I can only imagine that there's probably been times on his end, I'd have to believe, that he's had to rework a schedule, work around something, maybe play while he's there. It's just, who knows, right? And so, again, let me say that first. Secondly, on the part of, this is very demoralizing, right? It can be. When you're in a situation where your main R5 or your only R5 also ward leads, dear Lord, can I not emphasize how much of a piece of thin ice that is, right? Because you have someone like Jay Geezy, the homie, who is a very popular, polarizing figure to many. He is a staple in the COD community. Right? Let's make no mistake about that. He's been around for a very long time. At the same time, when you have a system where you are the only R5, there's no other co-R5s that can also kind of take over, or not take over, but just fill in here and there, that can be impacting, right? Now, obviously, if you have kind of a chain of command, even if you are a solo or single R5, this can make things a little bit easier, right? Secondly, when it comes to war leading, the fact that your R5 is also the main war lead makes it that much more challenging, right? Especially if you don't have other people that can step up to help as war leads. Now, I don't know about their situation, but in the situation where, at least how GUNZ is describing it, making it seem as though Jason is either the main war lead or the main war lead at certain timings, and you're not there, this is typically why you would have backups.
It's mainly been
right?
fluffy.
And you would have situations where you have a second, a third war lead. Maybe you're covering different time zones. Even if someone was to come to you and say, hey, listen, man, I can war lead all 3 days, pass opens on a Friday, I'm good, still have a backup, right? Like just CYA, cover that, yeah, you know what I mean? And so making sure that you have positions filled, I think is incredibly important. And that should be a general rule of thumb for everyone to abide by, right? Having 2, 3, 4 war leads, people covering different time zones, having backup times just in case someone can't make it. You have to almost operate your war lead time zone coverage like you would do staffing a store for a business. Now, the third part here, which is, right, GUNZ has been through it all, right? So GUNZ, he's a writer, man. Like GUNZ is the homie. And I will always have a lot of respect for GUNZ because of the fact that, and again, which I wouldn't say that I would lose complete all respect for him if he opted to just kind of do season to season jumping. But for me, it's more important. And I really want people to understand that, you know, GUNZ literally ride or died it out for TFS in the literal worst of times when they were at like their lowest point multiple times over, right? And we've documented this historically on the channel. And so I just want to obviously give a shout out there again. Number 4 is that the fact that nobody was willing to step up, that kind of rubs me a little bit weird because I look at this on 2 sides of it. On the management side, I look at it as kind of like a shame for them because why are you not thinking ahead enough to make sure that you have all these positions filled, you have backups filled, you're doing the appropriate recruitment, or you're promoting from within? You have multiple opportunities and ways to fill these positions. So number 1, that falls on management initially. Now, obviously, we don't know every single situation and how everything exactly played out, right? And maybe more will come to light, but I think you can't sit there and say that, you know, you're not to say you're putting blame, but that management doesn't hold a significant part of the responsibility. The second part here is that nobody was willing to step up if that's true. That is rough to hear because that means to show that nobody originally within TFS was willing to step up if the opportunity was meant to delegate with the merge, which I have to assume part of it was. And then they do the merge, and you're anticipating that everyone's going to figure it out. You've been there, what, 2 seasons, I think, maybe 3? And now it's like, okay, all this stuff is coming out. Like, I mean, dude, like that sucks, right? Because you're going in hoping to address some of these challenges, and it didn't last that long, or as far as nobody willing to kind of step up. Like that kind of sucks on, at least for some of the people that are there as members. But I imagine it's also rough to hear on the management side. But like I said, I don't know how did they go about recruiting? How much effort was put in? Did they speak to every single person that they thought could be an eligible candidate? Did anyone step up and raise their hand, but they just weren't selected and weren't chosen? How much external recruitment did they do to try and fill management slots? I mean, there's a lot of unknown here, right? There's a lot of gray area. So yeah, let's continue.
Him, but it's mainly been Fluffy carrying the alliance with Machine helping him. Now, as far as the merge goes, the merge happened in order to help Jason alleviate from having to be on all the time, or to help more leadership for war leading. But the problem was that on the 225 side, there hasn't been someone from the 225 side stepping up to war lead us. That could be due to maybe like a culture issue between the 2 groups, and people not being confident to speak English to a bunch of English speakers, which is very possible and understandable. I don't blame them, to be honest.
Okay. Whoa. This is bad on multiple fronts here. This almost is sounding to me, oh God, this is almost sounding to me as bad as when TFS did that merge with Ancients, and then they became like ANCS. I think it was like the second alliance they had when they were filling in half of the group that left with SOD, or about half of the group that did, and they ended up going to 60 to make Echo, right back in the day. Why do I say this? Oh God, I'm gonna have to dive into this for a bit. So, number 1, if GUNZ is saying that nobody from their side, the 225 side, wanted to step up and or were willing to step up to assist in war leading, wouldn't you have known that before you did the merge? Or was it that you did the merge and you were told that these people were going to help to war lead, maybe they did for a season, but then they just dropped off and didn't, right? So is that how that played out? Or is it more of, no, they said that they were going to do it and then no one did it? Or or you never talked about that and it was just your people coming over saying, we're going to war lead, right? So that, again, there's and that's just some of the ones that are standing out to me. Number two, right? So that is already a massive red flag. Number two, he's saying that there might have been some language barrier there, if possible. Again, wouldn't you have done that research ahead of time to make sure that there's some compatibility, that there's some a level of supplementation that's able to be worked in to either your war lead rotation, your management rotation, so the burden isn't falling potentially on all of your people that are coming in, right? So I don't know. Part of this just feels like an incompatibility. That's just kind of where it feels like it's leaning right now, based on what he's saying. So I mean, honestly, dude, this sounds rough because to me, based on how he's wording this, it's really coming across now that this was potentially a management fail. Right now, like you know, like management searching for a compatible merge to do. Now, like I said, maybe it isn't really all on TFS, and maybe it's more on 225 side. Maybe TFS came in, they put everything out there on the table, they communicated everything appropriately. They said realistically, this is who we have, this is where we're going, this is who's going to be stepping up and doing what, and they gave you accurate numbers on their current activity for management and non-management roles, right? Maybe they did that. Maybe the other side, 225, wasn't as upfront and honest. There is starting to become a lot more gray area for me here. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's continue.
So that's pretty much like the core of it. And every once in a while Jason comes in and then he starts like war leading, or we start like BSing about, and we're all laughing, and it's such a good time, and it's super bittersweet, man, because I've had a lot of great times in TFS. First of all, I want to thank Jason for my time in TFS. Amazing times. We're like the black sheep of CallofDragons, right? We were never at number one, but we were always knocking. We were always there, hooking and jabbing. I mean, we definitely had some of the most fights. So I mean, there you have it. It's really that simple. That's the reason why I'm leaving IMFS/TFS group.
I mean, that's pretty wild, right? Because if anything, GUNZ has left me with more questions now than I think we got in the number of answers provided, which to me is pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if anyone's willing to kind of come and speak on it. I'd be happy to sit down and talk with anyone, or, you know, if I end up hearing from anyone, you know, which again is, let me explain when I say that too, right? As most people know, right? This is never in any attempt or situation to throw shade at anyone. To me, this is always going to be from an educational standpoint, right? To illuminate, to help people prep in advance, to help you understand that if you do not plan for these things ahead of time, they can become issues. Now, this is aside from people just simply saying, look, man, I want to focus more on IRL. I can't invest as much time in game, but let me at least do right by everyone. Let everyone know in advance that I'm going to be leaving, and let's make plans for trying to continue this thing going, right, and writing. Now, that's a different story than what we've heard from other situations, unfortunately, right? From other disbands, from other people that have just dropped and left, from other people that have stepped down and they didn't disband, but then because they were maybe the main person, a number of people still opted to leave with them, right? I mean, there's kind of take your pick, right? It's almost like a basket of Robbins, come get your 31 flavors of, you don't know what the heck is going to happen. That, you know, I absolutely wish GUNZ the best, man. I hope that everything goes out well. I hope that he gets everything he's looking for, right? Because, you know, for those of you, and I talked about this before in the previous video, during GUNZ's time in TFS, right, there were, like he said, and I had said as well, right, some low moments. And during those times, especially as a content creator, him enjoying the live stream, him enjoying to fight out there on the battlefield, and that being a portion of his content while he live streams, it is important to make sure that you're in a situation to show off as many fights and as many wars as possible, right? So you can kind of show off all the PvP. And so needing to kind of put a couple of his accounts in different gen pools to try and be in those KVK ones was basically the next and kind of probably only best step for him to maximize up to those 4 gen pools. And him doing what he needed and kind of had to do right in his situation, I said and I thought probably was the smartest move that he could have made at that time. And I absolutely hope that he gets everything that he's looking for here. And even if, and let's be real, right? If they only last a season or two, I think the community and people will probably rip them a new one. Like, let's just objectively be fair, right? Like, let's call a spade a spade. Let's call it how we see it. I think that's fair to say. Now, if they last 3 seasons or more, I think you could speak a little bit more to that, especially depending on how they do and obviously what may end up happening. Now, I hope that they last a very long time and it's multiple seasons long. And time will tell. But regardless of all that, man, I hope that he has a great time there. I hope he gets what he's looking for. And to me, I think it's exciting. I do, because I think compared to him, my view, and I'm sure he's probably going to talk about this later, but my view on this is that him going to NVR, which to me feels like a new build, not a rebuild, but a new build, where you're kind of having all these people going to a dead kingdom basically from scratch, that is exciting. I think there's some good hype around that. I think that's a great storyline. So again, I wish them the best, and we'll see what ends up happening. I'd love to know what you guys think on the answers that GUNZ gave. Do you feel it was enough? Do you feel maybe there's more to it? Are you somewhere in the middle? Where do you lean? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. That's it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.